Background music for this podcast is used with permission from the Hustle Cat soundtrack. If you like it, please check out at SAMMNEILAND or that same name at .bandcamp.com. You can see in the description below. Thank you. Turbo, you want to start us off this time since you didn't do the reading?
Hey!
Wow.
On the spot, do it! Come on.
Hey, don't worry, it's not so bad.
You didn't even say welcome to Visual Novel Book Club.
That's what I want Turbo to do.
Okay.
Yeah. Welcome to Visual Novel Book Club. I'm your pal Slowby. With me, as always, is...
Oh.
I did it just how you did!
It was beautiful.
Hey everybody, welcome to Vision. With me as always is my good friend Jim.
Hey there.
My good friend Devious Vacuum.
Hello.
My good friend Polo Hoko.
Hey, yeah.
And Turbo C, who was the last person to finish the reading this episode.
No, don't shame me.
Look at
But
this.
I was the first person to finish, I think. I finished it like right after we recorded last week.
Look at all these.
2 weeks ago.
Look at all these chuckle fucks pretending like they never wait till the last minute to read the reading.
Your plaque is in the mail.
You could see it on like Steam and Discord. You could be like, oh, somebody's doing it right at the end.
Yep, you can see it right there. Who's playing every time?
No, I saw Polo Hoko playing Hustle Cat right before, and
Hey, that's just because I really like it, and I want to play it again.
you know what? But you know what? You copped to it. But the best was like DVAC. Turbo was streaming, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I was streaming, and I was like, there's something important I had to do today.
I was already watching you because I enjoy you and PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds.
No.
I was already in the room. I was already there. I did not hear the VNBC signal and appear in the chat to be like, I heard that one of my disappointing children has not read the reading yet.
Yeah, I looked at the clock and I was like, there's about 40 minutes until... And then of course I played another game before I said
Right.
Just one more.
Right. But then you said in the Discord here, just finished streaming and realized I hadn't done the reading, so I'm speeding through it now. So you've sped through it. Who wants to start us off? Because I read it like 2 weeks ago now, and I kind of forget the haze route.
Do we want to wait for the bus to back up one more time so you could throw Turbo under there again?
Yeah, sure. I'll do it. I'll fucking do it. You watch me.
He made us cancel recording last week.
Oh, I didn't mean to do that. All right, anyway. So, look, who wants to start us off?
Okay, fine, I'll do
Come on,
it.
Dave. Okay.
Back in the saddle again.
right.
Pretty light reading as far as, most sessions go. Most everything is the same for the haze route up until we get to the cafe, and we have that choice of asking him if he hates people. And that's kind of the trigger to go onto the haze route. And I gotta admit that, like, do you hate people seems like a really pointed and kind of inappropriate question.
So what what Avery actually says, and this is sort of one of the things as, what is shown is not actually what is said. Because if they showed this as the dialogue choice, I would have picked it before, which was, do you hate being around people?
Yeah, which is very different.
Right, which is very different.
Yeah, that is actually really different, yeah.
And not rude, and not as rude. Like, do you hate people is like just so offensive, especially from the interpretation of like, oh, Hayes just has social anxiety. Like, oh my god, you never would say that to anyone.
Well, even without social anxiety, it's kind of like a leading question. Like, your friend or somebody, or maybe somebody that you're not quite familiar with, would just ask you and be like, oh, do you hate people? Do you hate me? Is that why you're not talking to me? Is that why we never see each other anymore?
And not like you're talking to someone who's clearly, like, angry all the time or something, but you're talking to someone who's, like, very shy, and, God, it's just, it sounds so bad. And like we've said it in the other times, like why would we pick that? That sounds like the worst thing ever to say. And then it being the thing that we had to pick in order to go down this path I was upset about it. But then yeah, the resulting conversation was pretty normal.
Yeah, we get a nice, well, I don't think it was horrible. We get a nice little picture of Hayes kind of sitting at the table looking a little wistful. And the response is, no, I don't hate being around people. I'm just a little shy. And Avery is kind of like, well, you're in a cafe and you're around a ton of people, so like, why would you work at a cafe if you're not comfortable being around people? And the response, which makes sense, is I want to see if I can get better around people, because social, interaction is like a muscle, and you have to practice at it. And I'm thinking maybe with this kind of job, I can be around people more often and get better at it and not have to be so shy all the time. Like, he didn't say it like as, he said it in his own way, but that's basically what it boiled down to.
Yeah, and that was
but
really
he also
nice.
he also acknowledges that this is the deep end a little bit. He's he went a little bit far, but he is trying. He's trying to get better at this stuff.
And just having that insight into him as a person, like, right away, I think kind of recasts all of his actions, and, like, sort of, at least for how I had kind of interpreted him as a character up until now, I was like, oh, like, he's more aware of this than his actions would sort of imply. He's not just like he's got a little bit more depth to him than we've seen in all of the other routes so far.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
after that, we kind of go on as normal until we have the next choice, where it's the scene where we are in the kitchen with Hayes and he's doing the dishes. And in previous routes, we've kind of forced ourselves upon him and said, hey, I'm going to be back here and help you with the dishes because that's what a good person does. And it was always really awkward, and he would be very quiet, and we'd try to kind of talk to him and it would go nowhere. Where actually we have a new choice now. I believe this is a new choice where we have the option of having him come out with everybody else and drink coffee, because it's kind of after hours and everybody's kind of winding down and relaxing.
This is like after, I think, like that. Was this after the Jelly Donut Day?
Yeah, this was after Jelly Donut Day, and they were all busy. And
like
stuff.
we've rebuffed Finley in this timeline, and then we're not rebuffed her, but we're just like, yep, one coffee coming up, and not like acknowledge the hot thing, and then it's like, hey, okay, that's right, Hayes, why don't you come hang out?
I think you can always ask him, but I don't know. I don't remember if we have yet.
I think for sure we haven't.
But, and I thought it's like, it still seems like a bit much, like he doesn't really want to do it. But then there's also a little bit where we ask him to make us a cappuccino, like he did for our interview, and that's really nice. And you kind of get this other little bit where he's like, well, it's gonna be difficult. It might be difficult for him to like go and be social, but he really likes, like, he likes making this coffee for us, and so it shows like, oh, he does like Avery. Like, Avery's not just imposing on him entirely. Like, he does want to make this coffee for Avery. He like wants to be friendly to Avery, and so that's like a nice thing. It's not like Avery is just like pulling him, antagonistically into social interaction.
I like where this route is going because it's a little bit like the Mason route in that both characters are kind of unapproachable, but with Hayes it's like a different angle where you can approach him, but you're not going to get much reciprocation.
Am I being silly here, or I feel like this timeline's Avery is more forthright. I don't think aggressive is the right word, but like forthright than previous Avery's.
I think
a little more of a
has to be.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Hayes is a little reticent.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I think right away Avery in this particular scene is like, "What, you don't like me now?" And then Hayes is like, and it's like, "No, I'm just teasing."
Mm-hmm.
But you see that sort of this is Avery who's on the not just like being more open about stuff, because if you don't, Hayes is never going to say anything back.
What if this game is about magical dimensions where everyone gets an Avery? An Avery suited to their innermost desires and romance options.
Like Oprah's just giving out Averys.
And then in the true ending, all the Averys are collapsed into one. Just like at just like at the end of Ever 17, where all the timelines eventually end at one point.
Oh, I thought you meant like a big ball of Averys rolling down a hill.
We are legion. We are one.
And then they retain all their memories.
Yeah.
Oh God.
But they all land in different plots of land where they're buried, and the collection of them is known as graves. Huh?
Wow.
Huh?
Just as you said that, my computer monitor went to sleep, and I just...
Your computer's like, God, the shit I have to put up with. No, not tonight.
Same.
No.
Just about it, just shaking its head back and forth like, no.
Yeah, Defect's got like a robot computer, and it's sentient, and these recordings that we do are just putting it through hell.
Yeah, my computer's been judging us this whole time. Sorry, I didn't want to bring it up.
Why did you program me to feel shame?
I didn't even. It just got that from being around me.
Welcome to 2017.
Shame by digital osmosis.
So what's the other scene? The other scene is the cat spooning scene, right? That happens where we come in the morning and Hayes is sleeping next to a cat named Junta, and and he's the little spoon in this cat cuddle pile and is real weird about it, and we talked about how weird it was. It's still weird.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we get a double dose of that in this session. Yeah. I forgot.
Yeah, double dose of cat weirdness.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we talked about that before, but it's just, Hayes was cuddling this cat. It was kind of weird in a way that implied that is Hayes dating this cat, which would be weird. That it doesn't get brought up again, so I don't know. Now I super don't know what that was about.
It's like there are certain plot points they have to have. They're always like, well, it's going to get a little awkward about being cats at some point.
Yeah, they play it off as like, well, the cat was crying a lot, and it's a stray, and it's a new cat, and I just figured I would turn into a cat and spoon with him to calm him down, and we're meant to just go, oh, okay. That's understandable.
Is that a thing cats do? I don't have a cat, so I don't know. I don't have multiple cats.
Yeah, you can't even have one cat. You need two cats to know this. Wait, we have to Google this now. In addition to, can cats eat chocolate or donuts or whatever it was? Now it's cats.
It turns out they only do this if they have too many raisins.
There's a Google autocomplete for do cats like to spoon?
Oh God! No!
I think you're on your way to a dangerous place,
No.
Me, on the other hand, looking.
My cat likes to spoon for real. wait! Oh my God! Wait a minute! The article title: My cat likes to spoon for real. The URL: livingmyimperfectlife.com. Wow!
You all are like,
is a nice way of saying it. Yeah.
You get a plug, I suppose.
Y'all are like, you shouldn't Google for do cats like the spoon. It's gonna be all awful. No, this is all really, really cute shit.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it is actually. Yeah, the conscious cat. My cat's
say,
like the spoon.
Does it say that it like calms them down?
Are you guys trying to trick me?
There's a subreddit called r/aw, like AWW, and it's my cats like to spoon each other, and it's two cats spooning. This is. Wow.
I'm gonna search this, and if you guys are just tricking me,
what kind of weird ass trick would this be? Where the four of us coordinated without you?
Got him directly on the podcast. We had it for how many episodes, and we finally got him.
The 3-season long con.
I mean, this is kind of cute, yeah.
Somehow the con wasn't tricking you into playing Ever 17.
that was the con against us, right? That was the Tie Tuesday con, and then it's like, now to get Poa. It's like a triple cross, right? Like you think like, we got him, we're not gonna get anybody else, but no, it was really
the reason that
we're just getting ourselves.
I've been trying to work in Ever 17 references is because of the basement scene, which we can talk about now. Where so we get to the basement scene, and Avery's goes down to the basement, and Hayes is like, "Hey, is somebody down there? I'm gonna turn the lights off." And Avery's like, "Oh no, it's me. I'm down here." And Hayes never actually comes into the basement. He just stays at the top of the stairs because he's too scared to go down into the basement. And it's pretty adorable actually, because both of them start to get scared, and
it's the double baby scene.
How they do it.
Yeah,
it's
they're
like
both,
Hayes is at the top of the stairs and is like, "You shouldn't be down there. There might be something creepy." And Avery's like, "Oh, it's just a basement. You know, there's nothing creepy down here." And then he rethinks this is like a magic cat witch basement, and he's like, "Oh shit, maybe there is something down here. Maybe there's like a monster." And then
Avery
they both start getting scared.
Avery goes, "None of these things are haunted." And Hayes responds, "Are you?" And Avery doesn't know how to respond to that and just says, And in my notes are, "Aren't we all haunted in our own ways, Avery Gray?" Avery doesn't respond, "No, I'm not haunted," but I guess because they're all cursed by the cat curse, they don't want to be just like, "No, we're not haunted." I don't know. It was just a weird response of being like, how should I interpret this? And also responding, "Are you?" to that it was just really funny. But so then, very importantly, there's a mysterious sound of someone kicking a can.
That's right.
Dun dun dun.
It's Wick Blinkle.
and as soon as I heard it, I personally immediately was like, "I can't fucking believe this." They just kicked a can. A ghost just kicked a can in this fucking game. This was my hashtag blocked moment, I think. They're like, somebody kicked a can. Who kicked that can? And they both get so spooked that Avery leaves the basement, and they go outside the basement to talk. And I really like that Hayes' basement scene is that both of them get scared, and they never actually both are in the basement.
Yeah. And I don't know if you noticed, but at the end of every basement scene, there's the same line, which it was kind of nice to talk to blank, I guess. And in this case, it's like, you didn't actually fucking talk to Hayes. You two were just scared each other from the top and bottom of the stairs. You didn't talk. Yeah. What the hell are you talking about?
They talk a little bit, I think, I don't know if it's like a separate scene or something, but they, I think they talk a little bit at the top of the stairs, but it wasn't really like, oh, I really, got to talk to Hayes, as a person. It was just, this goofy comedy scene where they were both afraid of ghosts.
Yeah, they hold hands at the top of the stairs, which is sweet, but not really a talking moment.
Yeah. Winkle kick the can.
And then one of the cats comes up and goes, "Row, row, hey."
And then what's next? We get the scene where you have to trust one person, and in this scene you
forsake the other.
Yeah, you trust Hayes for just no reason whatsoever. I mean, there's just nothing that we've established with Hayes is why we should trust him with this, but we do.
Yeah, and it's the same with everybody except Reese, where it was like, why would you go to this person in particular, even if you're really even if you're friends or if you like them or whatever, it still feels a little awkward because it's it's more than just the magic turning into Cat's curse, and the fact that you have a crush on someone are sort of independent from each other.
Look, it's like you're a teenager, and it's that really awkward, the Ralph you like stuff, but this is perfect because now it's hey, that cat curse? I got a way out of it. Can I have your phone? Maybe if you can give me your phone number, but
Although the best is Hayes freaks out when you even suggest a private conversation. You're like,
hey,
can we talk after work? He's like, you just have to tell me now because I can't wait all day. I have to know right now. Just tell me. Just tell me right now.
I thought that was a good line. The whole you have to tell me now so I don't worry about it all day. But that was funny. I was like, oh, that's relatable. I remember I don't know, being like that maybe more when I was younger. But when we first like approach him, also he like thinks that we're mad. He's like, "Oh, this is it. This is as long as our friendship has lasted."
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
That's right.
Oh, honey,
by the way,
calm
my
down.
headcanon voice. This is pretty cliched, but my headcanon voice for Hayes is Otacon from Metal Gear.
Oh, of course.
It's pretty close to what I've been imagining
I'd say
too.
so,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He looks a little bit like him, like with
That's
the hair.
you know what? I have to, but I do that kind of with like books and things I read where like I'll imagine the protagonist looking like celebrities or someone. Like I have just no like I'll make up that character in my head. It's like, nah, I guess Kevin Costner will do or some shit, you know. You're close enough. Who needs to stretch that imagination? But anyway. Sorry, now I'm...
No, it's okay. The next thing is that, so yeah, they go to talk about magic, and then normally this scene would be in the basement, but they're like, no, the basement's too scary, so they go up to Graves' apartment.
Yeah.
And the person who's interested in this romance this time, the third party that's interested is Finley, and Finley waggles her eyebrows at Avery as Avery and Hayes go up the stairs to Graves' apartment. And Hayes, another thing is I figured that Hayes would be more reticent to break the curse because he keeps, you know, telling us about how he likes being able to be a cat sometimes, and that he also might be dating that one cat. I don't know what that was about. So I expected him to be like, no, I don't want to ever break the curse. But he's immediately like interested in breaking the curse, and like even Mason like had to like, no, I don't really care, and then she said yes, and like Hayes didn't even have that. He's just like, yes, I want to break the curse, and it's just like totally different characterization than I had sort of imagined that he would be.
Here's my take on that. I think that plays well into his personality, because he seems like the type where if you offered to do something with him, and even if he really did want to do it, he would just go along with it anyway, just because because disagreeing would be rude. And they kind of get into this later on, but I think that you're probably right in that he doesn't really want to break the curse, but is probably just on board for helping Avery, or at the very least just going along with it.
Yeah, and Hayes is tough to read. Maybe he really likes Avery. Like, that could be a thing too. Like, you know, it could not just be Avery wanting to talk to the person that Avery likes. It could also be Hayes being like, "Hey, I like this person. I'm fine. I'll go along if they want to talk about the curse."
Yeah, right. like oh, it wasn't appealing to me to not be a cat until I had a crush on you, and now I'm like, oh yeah, sure, I want to break this curse.
Yep.
Avery's the best I'm gonna get. I gotta face facts in my life.
It's time to settle.
Oh. I mean, Mason was like that too. It's like, I'm okay with being a cat until, maybe I can go on dates. Maybe there's stuff in this for me.
These Sims must get people's hopes up so bad if you aren't used to the dating scene. It's like, no, you just don't have your pick of 5 people. That doesn't work that way.
All of them are your coworkers too.
Yeah,
HR loves this.
Everyone's always your coworkers in these games, which makes sense in like a story thing. But yeah, in real life, ooh, not great. Not a good idea always.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, it's a cat cafe.
Yeah,
you know, I mean,
it's not a career. There's not that much upward movement in the cat cafe business, but yeah.
It's like, not like, hey, Graves, what's your 401k plan like? You know, like, are you matching or what? You know? What's the corporate ladder like here? It's like, well, if you're here for...
There's clearly a witch hierarchy, though.
Yeah, you probably start at the bottom, like on kitty litter duty, and then you move up to, like, taking orders, and then you
kitty
make the
litter
coffee.
duty.
Yeah, duty.
And you can see the repercussions of dating within the workplace when you're a professional witch, because that's what causes Graves all of these problems.
I wonder if there's like a video that they show them before, like as a hire-on training.
The sexual harassment course, you mean, like for?
Hi, I'm Rusty Bikes, and I'm here to talk to you about workplace sexual harassment.
No spooning the cats.
Working a cat cafe can be fun as long as you remember, pause. Please always... I don't know.
Oh, I'm rooting for you. I know. I was rooting for you. I was like, holy shit, he's got something.
Always.
Please always work safely.
Always work safely. Yes. Please always work safely.
No, I don't like it. Let's go again. Everyone quiet. Let's think of another one.
Wait, what is it for? Is this for workplace? All right. God damn it.
I want to kill the podcast right here. Let's think of more acronyms.
I don't know what.
Please always weep silently. Workers at the cat cafe.
Oh, that's my personal motto.
Please always work silently. And that's Mason's video that she watched. Yeah, there we go.
It would be great if, like, all the examples, though, were, like, cats, like, doing things like, Munchies has been talking a lot with Furball, but Furball's got a lot of touchy-feely lately. Should Munchies go to her supervisor?
Munchie's been spooning with Furball and Hayes starts sweating.
They've got like a little HR cat with a little tie on, and it's got a little desk.
And then Reese is in the video as the supervisor, like, you know, like, here, who should I go talk to? And it's just Reese as a cat who's like, yeah. Reese made the video, actually.
Yeah, Reese made the video, and Reese is all the characters. It was just made by him. And he presented it to Graves, like, here, maybe we can use this in our training. And Graves is like, oh, that's great, Reese.
And Graves just, like, gave Reese, like, or, like, told Reese about the concept of, like, workplace conduct handbooks. And then Reese just, like, was like, oh, I can do that.
Just remember, meow. Mind every other worker. His feelings.
Oh my god.
Did your computer power off on that one too?
I had to type it out.
Yeah, that was a lot of work. I shouldn't be making fun. So the next thing that happens in the story is that they come down from talking in the other room, and Finley stage winks at Avery or whatever, is like, hey, I know what's going on. And Finley's like, hey, I can help set you up with Hayes if you need help. Like, I'm a really good matchmaker. And Avery's like, what is this, middle school? Which is the appropriate reaction, honestly. Like, that's a wild thing to just say to someone. But then, in the most anime twist, Hayes was around the corner listening the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh, these
right,
poor,
I forgot
these
about
poor
that.
dumb babies.
It really is.
It's a real dumb baby scene.
They're just different flavor of dumb baby.
It's true. It was sweet though. I mean, it was like very like just like, oh, of course this happened. But
yes.
But it is funny. I like that so much of Avery's like. I like that Avery is not just totally. Like the more calm one compared to Hayes, because it like really wouldn't be in character for Avery to be like that all of a sudden. And so I like that there's so many times where they're both just totally caught off guard. That's like a real sweet dynamic.
Yep. And now we get the awkwardest scene, I think, of all the awkward cat scenes, which is they head back to Avery's apartment, and Avery doesn't carry Hayes because he thinks Hayes wouldn't like it, doesn't even offer. And then Avery has this weird thought about a cat as good looking as Hayes. If you own that kind of cat, you wouldn't allow him outside on his own. And then Avery immediately acknowledges that that's a really weird thing to think about the person you like.
Hayes' cat is beautiful and elegant, which is also wild because, like, we know Hayes. We know what Hayes looks like. Like, Hayes is not a person that, I mean, he's jittery and awkward, and you would not be like, oh, what a beautiful and elegant person is this awkward, 19-year-old. And it's just, yeah. And even Avery's like, is that weird? And even in my notes I wrote, we hit weird real fast this time, folks.
Yep. And also, like, the idea of, like, oh, if I own someone like Hayes, it's like, no, that's someone that literally, it's your coworker who just reported half an hour ago.
That's not right. Don't own people, Avery.
That's wild. It's wild.
The other thing I was thinking of during that sort of thing, because he mentioned carrying Hayes, was like I got into the weird thing of like how does the cat transformation work? Is there conservation of mass? Because if you're carrying a cat that weighs 190 pounds, that's gonna get you buff real quick.
I don't think so. I think it's like a weird.
But this got compounded later because when at Avery's apartment they talk about eating food and how you'll eat the same amount of food as you would if you had a human-sized stomach. And like this is just confusing me even more because apparently Landry eats his cat body weight when he is a cat.
So this is kind of.
Yeah, this is came out of
horrendously all against physics.
Like,
so
the
how
scene
I've
just
kind of
came out of
interpreted
nowhere,
it.
and it seemed like a scene that was just written in response to some nerd that was like, well, how much do these cats eat? Do they eat human-sized food, or do they only eat cat food, or, yeah.
I'm just going to point out we are on a podcast discussing visual novels, so I don't know how far that nerd is going to take you.
Let me tell you about my interpretation of how the magic works in this. Okay, because they've talked about it a little bit in every route, and in one of the routes they talk about how sort of like it's sort of more like your body is stored somewhere else while you're controlling a cat.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way of looking at it, is that like your body is actually in some kind of pocket dimension or whatever, and like your body is somewhere else, and you are connected to this cat body. But everything that interacts with the cat body is connected to your human body, like the food part. And but also like your body and everything you were holding is just
there's a wormhole within your
somewhere.
cat's stomach that goes to your human body.
No, I get it. Astral digestion.
Yeah, of course.
Right. No, I'm down. I think that's it. I think and
it's all charged by the jerk-off crystals.
It powers the whole thing. It's really elaborate. But
the entire world, the entire multiplanar system.
And but that's the kind of the interpretation that I have of like how this is, and it's obviously vague, like on purpose, and but that whole idea of like, oh, it's like connected in some way, but you just can't like access your regular body. I don't know where the cat body comes from, but that's like that kind of idea of like you're just like stashed somewhere else while this is all happening.
It comes from an alternate universe where they have human cafes.
Whoa.
It's a cat avatar.
Yeah, the cat avatar.
Oh my god.
Shit, I'm thinking. I'm overthinking this now.
Oh no. We have set him off.
I don't know if I don't even know if you want to do it. I don't think you want to go here. Because, okay. So your astral body is somewhere else, right? You're eating as a cat. You're eating human-sized portions. At some point, you are going to have to digest and excrete.
No, that's...
Yeah.
I paused while I was speaking specifically to skip over that particular thought.
Pause, you say? Let's pull out another acronym for the lady, please.
Pause and... fuck, I'm terrible at this.
Well, I would put you on the spot. That's a hard one.
Yeah. Pause and let's move on.
Pause any wormhole shitting.
Get the heavy duty cat litter.
All right, I'm sorry. I really am.
So once again, we arrive.
I want to talk about cat shit now.
There's actually human shit coming out of the cat's ass.
Oh my god!
I tried so hard not to say it or talk about it. I tried.
I think, as we know, reading a visual novel book club, you hear that poop always weaves stories.
Well, you won the title again.
The best part is
good
this
night,
will be
folks.
shit from another dimension. No, I'm going further down this wormhole.
Oh,
this is
so,
shit
like,
from
it's
another
astral
dimension,
shit?
so scientists will want to, like, research it and all of that.
Schrodinger's cat poo.
Oh my god, yeah.
It will be a collector's commodity.
So it's like you digest the food in the astral plane, and then it just makes the trip back just to be excreted.
But if you...
Yeah, I mean, we can't just have, like, shit floating around the astral plane. What if I'm having a very nice dream or astral projection, and I get a little cat poo flung in my face? Sorry, human poo flung in my face. I don't want that.
So many disgusting jokes I don't want to do. Where were we?
So Hayes doesn't want to eat pizza.
There we are. I knew if I was quiet long enough,
pizza,
you'd solve
yeah.
your own problems.
You can't bail us out every time. We have to learn.
No matter how hard I try.
Schrodinger's cat. All right.
But yeah, like you said, Hayes doesn't want to eat pizza because it's hard to eat. So it just shows how determined Finley really was. Because it's difficult to eat pizza as a cat.
Also, the name of the pizza place is Pizza Lloyd's, which sounds kind of like Vocaloids.
Delicious.
Do you think they have, like, a mascot
actually...
that's like the Noid, but its name is just Lloyd, and it's just the guy?
They call it
delivers
the... They call it the
It's just the guy that delivers the pizza named Lloyd.
Hi, it's me, Pizza Lloyd.
What was... The Noid was Domino's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't understand, though, because, like, I get you can make the word Noid with the word Domino, but you have, like, an OMS
Whoa,
left
what?
over.
Is that real? Is that how that word got invented? I don't know.
I think it was just because it rhymed with a void and it sounded good, so you would avoid the Noid.
Avoid the Noid.
It rhymed with a void, and it's kind of like the word nerd, which he looks a little bit like a nerd, just going around crushing pizzas.
So it's like a New York pizza thing, like a
it's
void.
a Noid over here.
No, they named it that because the guy's name in Kentucky or whatever was Noid, so they had to, and they wanted to viciously mock him on national television, so they named after him.
Fun fact, Papa John's last name is Noid.
Whoa.
None of you heard the story about why they don't use the Noid anymore.
Oh,
my
I know
gosh.
what story you're referring to.
Okay.
Like, there was this guy that, like, he held people hostage or something because he thought that the Noid commercial was, like, an attack on him.
Yeah, no,
oh my god, I'm reading the history on this right now. Apparently, so, quote, after the incident ended, Police Chief Reed Miller offered an assessment to reporters. He's paranoid.
Yeah, that happened.
People were held at gunpoint, man!
And he also demanded a pizza. What if his demands was a pizza?
Well, that's an easy...
I see. Okay. I thought they didn't invent the character after him. It was this guy who thought the character.
Yeah,
they
thought that the character was an attack on him.
I thought Domino's was being an asshole to this mentally ill guy. Like, we'll show you. Like, holy shit.
No, his last name just happened to be Noid.
Wow. So after reading about all this on his phone, Hayes is like, I really don't want to eat pizza, Avery. And so they ordered Chinese takeout instead.
Which doesn't seem easier to eat than pizza for a cat. It's like, you know, what are you eating? You eating like chicken with broccoli? I don't know.
Well, Hayes is just like, I'm just not going to eat because I don't need to, I guess. Despite we have established that I have an enormous need to shit.
I'm just picturing that in the game. Where it's like, Avery's like, do you need to eat, Hayes? And Hayes is like, no, I don't really need to eat, but I really have to shit.
I haven't shit in 2 weeks. I've been scared shitless.
I'm done.
That was the breaking point for you after everything else. Okay.
Just that one pun. Can't do it.
Puns always work, silly.
This is a good podcast.
We talk about deep social issues here, taught to us by visual novels.
Podcasts always work, silly. Oh.
Oh my god.
You're just replacing the P every time.
What even? Where even?
Pterodactyls always work, silly.
They do, though.
They do, yeah.
Yeah, no, totally.
Like, you throw a pterodactyl at your problems, they're gonna get solved.
Where were
One way
we?
or another.
No, we're just done. We're done with this podcast. We've gone beyond the point of like, oh, let's talk about this little cat cafe. No, we're talking about astral plane shitting and the Noid, and let's just how's your guys' week going so far? Let's remove all pretenses here.
Podcast and week suspended. Wait.
We're so close. They ordered Chinese.
So they ordered Chinese food. They ordered fried rice.
Hey,
and so it's probably easy.
Podcasts are work, stupid.
And so they order Chinese takeout, and Hayes gets fried rice, which is easy to eat as a cat, I guess, because it's just like a pile of rice, which makes sense a little bit. As they are eating and hanging out, Avery thinks to themselves, this is like a regular date. Sure. But I also wanted to know that Avery is like...
That's all the time.
Avery is like seems like kind of quicker to narrate like what's actually going on or like how they actually feel in this route versus other ones where they were sort of more reserved even in their like internal narration of what's happening. Like this is a lot more like yes, like there's a lot of like yes, I think Hayes is cute, calling Hayes cute a lot and sort of making it like even the internal narration is more straightforward with feelings. So like this whole thing, like you said, like Avery is just a little bit more straightforward, I think, of a person versus in some of the other routes they were in denial or like more reticent to just like confess how they feel or reference how they feel even in their internal dialogue. They end up talking about what they were like in high school. And it's like, that's really, I don't know, I thought that was cute, and also because that was like only like, a year ago.
And we learn
but also it's so
Hayes
like,
now.
Yeah, like I remember doing that, making new friends like in college and being like, high school, it was so long ago, I say being 20, right? Like, but it does feel like so long ago once you're out. But anyway,
you have that like those little reset kind of milestones in your life where it's like now I'm an adult. It's like now I totally get what was going on in that previous stage of my life.
Or at least that like you could never go back, right? It's like I could never go back to like sitting in a room and having to ask permission to go to the bathroom.
Oh man.
Oh yeah.
I never even thought about that.
Yeah. And
please allow washroom, sir.
Oh my god. So Hayes, in high school, and I guess currently also, he writes poetry, and he likes to bird watch, and I thought that was funny, because Avery's like, was that hard to do as a cat? And he's like, no, it's a lot easier as a cat, and I like that whole, like, idea of like, oh, yeah, I'm hunting.
Yeah, I like that Avery thinks in, like, cartoon terms, where the bird is always going to be like on the lookout for the cat and ready to run away.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And but yeah, he and then I think Avery is like, oh, can I like read some of your poetry? And he's like, oh no, it's like how I work through personal stuff, and is like really embarrassed. And Avery's like, okay, I don't know. It was funny. I'm thinking about Hayes writing high school poetry, and it's pretty adorable. They also have like the conversation where Avery's like, what can you do as a cat that you can't do as a person? And we all, but it's like we kind of retread some ground that we already talked about, because he already said that he liked being able to escape from like the expectations of being a person, and just have the expectations of being a cat, which is no expectations.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think that the reason is ever mentioned, but Hayes kind of hints at it by saying to Avery, like, I will help you, I'm fine with helping you, but if you didn't break the cat curse, it wouldn't be that big a deal.
Yeah, it's more implied. And I thought it would be more explicit, that like he would be like, nah, it's cool, I like being a cat. But
Hayes is never forthright.
Yeah, and Avery, I also made a note that Avery like kind of changes the topic a lot to like when they start getting into like Hayes being like either too upset or like kind of like too somber, or like too going like, I don't know, like being too serious, and then Avery like changed the subject. So Avery's like sort of very delicate with Hayes, and I don't know if it's like, I'm kind of mixed on it because it's like also kind of Avery not wanting to talk about anything serious and Hayes just kind of being a more serious person. It's not just like, oh, Hayes is so delicate and shy.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, Hayes is always Hayes always answers questions, or like whenever Avery asks for his opinion on anything, it's always like, yeah, like Paul said, I agree or I disagree. Whatever you want is fine. Like, and that's it. That's everything is answered like that. Option 1 or option 2, whatever you want. Even for important things like breaking the cat curse. But so far we haven't seen that many important decisions. When it's like, what do you want to eat for dinner? Like, it's not an important decision.
Mm-hmm. And even with that, at least Hayes expressed some opinion at that point, you know. So we got there is some Hayes backbone there.
Yeah. And so we do the same deal. Avery reads the book to Hayes, and they fall asleep. And when we wake up the next morning, Hayes is gone. And I was pretty surprised that Hayes was gone. I was like, oh, that's weird. Hayes surely can't be gone for the same reason that Mason was gone.
Yeah, Hayes does not seem the type to just duck out like Mason would.
Yeah. So Avery goes about their day, gets ready, takes a shower, and I think like hears some noise outside, but then is like, nah, it's nothing. And then hears yelling and is, I believe, and then Hayes is like, Avery, help! And Hayes is stuck in a tree.
Thanks for advancing the cat stereotypes there.
Hayes is stuck in a tree. He jumped out onto a tree branch outside of our apartment, which is not on the first floor, I guess. And
he's too scared to go into a basement. How is he bold enough to jump onto a tree limb out a window?
Right? Like, that was a weird thing. Like, and he kind of, like, says, like, that he, like, wanted to do it to, like, I guess, like, prove that he wasn't scared, or not, like, something about himself, like, self-improvement for him. Like, yeah, I can do this to, like, show that I can do this, and then he fucked up.
Yeah, what he wanted to do was get a head start at the cafe to make extra coffee for Avery, I think. And then, because he was scared, he got stuck.
Oh, goodness. And then his reaction is that he's ready for us to make fun of him. And I think when he talks about high school also, he is very, like, anticipating us making fun of him. And so there's...
Why?
Yeah. So there's a little bit of an undercurrent of, like, that he was bullied, in high school, but we haven't really hit that, yet. But yeah, he's very much expecting, like, to be made fun of. And Avery's like, I'm not gonna make fun of you. Like, also, if Avery was gonna make fun of him, it wouldn't be while he was in the tree, like, in actual danger.
Right, yeah. Maybe.
But
Is he, like, can he land okay in cat form?
Well, a real cat could probably get down and be okay, but, you know.
I mean, but I wonder if you get that instinctual moves like a cat. Or if it's like, you know what I mean? Or like, no, I guess you can't be as, like, awkward as you would be, like, as a human being. Because they're doing tail stuff, too, right? And purring and all that. Yeah. So that's, yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Just making sure.
Yeah. So Avery grabs.
Sure. I don't know why
Hayes.
I phrased it like that, but
Avery grabs Hayes out of the tree.
It's all thematically consistent.
They get him out of the tree and back in the house, and he's like, whew. And then they head to the cafe. I think that was our stopping point.
That's the stopping point.
Yep. And Avery does say all the right things there, which was kind of a sweet little scene.
Yeah, like, oh, it's fine, I'm not gonna make fun of you, like, I'm glad that you're okay, like, all the stuff. So, yeah, and Avery has never, sort of cracked and made fun of Hayes ever, at any point. Like, there was, even though there's a lot of goofy stuff that happens, and, like, awkwardness that happens, like, Avery never acts that way toward Hayes, and so I think it's just, but there's definitely this setup going on of, like, Hayes is expecting to be, I guess, bullied a little bit, and Avery never does that.
Yeah.
See,
even when Avery's joking around, it's like self-deprecating. It's never projecting onto Hayes.
And there's an Avery for everyone, because again with Reese, Avery knew kind of like to give it back a little, and there you go.
Yeah, it is a little. I mean, people adapt to the people around them to treat them the way they want to be treated or the way it seems appropriate to treat them. But yeah, it's definitely like Avery's personality changes, I think, a little bit depending on which person you pick. But that's sort of the point of a blank slate protagonist.
I think you could say there's someone for everybody.
Oh, God.
Good night, folks.
Yeah, I think we're done.
Not quite. Your guys' homework? What are we gonna read to? The end?
Yeah, the end.
Yeah, the end.
So your homework, pause, peruse Avery's wonderful story.
Okay. I'll take it. Sure. Yeah. All right. Yep. That works for me.
Did you think that like 15 minutes ago?
Yes.
You're just sitting on it for the whole, all right. I gotta wait for the right moment, and it's like, good night, no, wait! Hold on.
No, now's my chance.
Please, wait, peruse Avery's wonderful story. Like, Polo, we're reading like Tsukuhime or something. It's season 5, I don't know.
That'll be really good, though. That'd be a good-ass callback. Are you kidding?
That would be a very...
Only true fans... Only true VNBC fans will recognize when we all, like, finally understand some joke 2 years later.
Our punchlines always pay off in a very monetarily enhanced time.
Punchlines always work, silly. The whole time, too, I'm like, I need a number word that starts with W, and I can't think of any. For please await that season for that. Damn it! Damn it, English, you don't have enough for me. Anyway. Alright. Good night, everybody.
See you next time.
So long.
Good night. Good night, folks.